Hello and welcome back to the podcast. Today I have a bit of a story time that I will be sharing with you all, and it's a little wild. I have had experiences like this, very similar, almost exactly the same, but never has this actually happened in real time where I am watching someone literally send me a message that said, and I'll go into it later because I didn't know that the first message said, I'll join later. And then send me a message that says, actually, fuck it, I'm in. I don't want to wait. Let's do it right now. And I didn't say anything to her. I didn't have a conversation with her. We didn't get on a sales call. Like, nothing shifted except my frequency. And actually, this has happened a couple times before, but I wasn't actually aware of it. I will have a message where someone says, oh, I'm not sure. Actually, you know what? Send me the payment plan link. I don't know. Actually, you know what? Send me the link. Fuck it. I'm going to do it. I really want to do it. Like, let's go. But typically it's kind of their own thought processing. I am not aware of it because they typically send the messages when I'm not seeing it. I'm not looking, I didn't read it, right? Like, so if I see it, I see like all the messages at once. But this time I saw the first message, and I'm going to go into the story, and then I saw the second message and I actively shifted it in real time. And I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it and translate as much as I can, because we're talking about frequency here, right? Which is like my specialty. This is the work that I do with my clients. This is like really the core of heart artistry, is this frequency work, which is so beautiful. And sometimes it can be a little bit challenging to translate it into the English language and be able to explain to you exactly what happened on a sensational level, right? And so I'm going to do my best to explain exactly what happened here so you have the play-by-play, because it really is such a wild experience. So I'm teaching a training call. Okay. It's for one of my programs, and my entire membership, the chamber, gets access to it. So this is a group call. Like, we've got multiple people on this call. There are multiple calls. And I'm on one of these live calls teaching for one of the modules. Before I go on, I'm pretty like on it with my Telegram messages, because I do a lot of Telegram coaching, which, if you're not familiar, it means there's no calls, just Telegram, and we're just sending voice notes back and forth or messages back and forth. So it's very asynchronous, and we typically have like a time period in which we're doing it. So like typically it's at least 3 weeks. Sometimes we go for a month, 3 months, things like that, right? But it's typically, unless there's like one-on-one calls included in the package, Telegram coaching is just held on Telegram. So I check Telegram pretty consistently throughout the day, because there are typically multiple clients I'm doing Telegram coaching with. So before I jump on this training call, I check my Telegram, and it's like right before I go on the call. So I don't have time to listen. It's actually a voice note. So this client, we're talking about joining my membership. And she sends me, I know that it's like a response. I know it's like a yes or no, because we've gotten to the point where she knows the investment. And I think she had like a question or something. And so I told her, so we got to the point where I know the next answer is either she's joining or she's not joining. And I think there was even a little bit of space in between before she sent that message. So I knew for sure, okay, this is like a final decision-making message, right? So it's either yes, she's joining, or no, she's not joining. But it was in a voice note, so I couldn't listen to the voice note. I was about to go on the training, and I was like, okay, I'll listen to it later. No worries. I'm in the zone. I'm getting ready for this training, so I'm not gonna, open up my messages right now. So I get on the call. I'm leading the call, and I'm leading the call, and I'm like very focused on the call. And while I'm leading it, I was like, I just had this thought, and maybe it's my ADHD brain. Doesn't even make sense as I'm saying it out loud, but I'm actively leading this call. Like, I'm fully there. I'm not on autopilot. I'm literally leading this call. And I think I might have been, because this is my Fire Horse frequency program. So I must have been talking about something about like fire and going all in and leading with this momentum and sourcing. Like, the mantra for the Fire Horse program was the Fire Horse sources its fire from within. That was like the leading, by the way, if you want access to the replay of Fire Horse frequency, you can purchase it. It is such a fire, literally a fire program. I must have been saying something, because in the back of my head, as I was teaching this program, I was like, you know what? What if I just decide that voice note was her saying yes? And it sounds crazy, because I was like, I don't know, right? And I had a thought that was like, oh, what if it's like, oh, she's not ready, she doesn't want to join at this time, right? It is what it is, if that is the case. But I was having this conversation literally as I'm teaching this program. This is how like ADHD I am. I'm teaching this program, actively teaching this program. This is not a coaching conversation, so there's not a lot of pauses. I'm actively teaching and speaking, right? And I have my notes, and I'm going off my notes, and I'm teaching, right? And I'm really in it. But in the back of my head, I'm like, why would I decide that it's a no when I can just as easily decide that it's a yes? And I noticed myself, and this is what I teach, right? I noticed myself almost wanting to like protect myself a little bit. Where sometimes we just decide that like, oh, it's not happening. You know, I'm just going to protect myself from like the disappointment. I'm just going to call it. I'm just going to decide. Like, we do this during launches. We do this during sales conversations. We feel like it's going to go a certain way, or we're getting to the point of like the pressure conversation. I was just coaching one of my clients on this the other day, where everything is good. And then she gets to the point where they have to talk about the payment. And then she starts to like speed up, and her heart rate starts to go up, and she starts kind of talking like this. Okay, well, here's the investment, and then here's the program. And then she assumes that they're going to say no, right? Or she assumes that like, it's gonna, like, she might need to offer something extra in order for them to say yes, that it can't just be like, this is the program. So that's one of the things that we've been working on, is like holding that conviction. And so anyway, I just noticed a thought in my brain. I was like, oh, what if it's not a yes? And I was like, whoa, wait a second. Why would I let myself think that? Right? Why would I let myself think that? And here's the thing, by the way, is like, you're all listening to this podcast, and you know that I've made lots of money in my business. I've sold big packages, right? But here's the real truth of it, is your brain is still going to brain. You're going to have made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Even that week, I had made thousands of dollars, and my brain still offers me thoughts like, well, what if they say no? Well, what if this? Well, what if this launch doesn't? Like, my brain still offers me those thoughts. It's not that they go away. They get a lot quieter, and I get a lot faster at shifting them. A lot faster, to a point where I did this on a call while teaching the call and having this conversation in the back of my head, and then shifting my frequency, and then watch what happens next. So I catch the thought, and I'm like, we're not doing that today. Like, we're not going there. No, I am not choosing to just decide and believe that she said no, just so I can kind of prepare and protect myself. I don't need to do that. I know how to create emotional safety. I know how to create safety in my body. I know how to process big emotions and big discomfort. I'm okay. I know how to do this. I literally have been doing this for years, right? So I just snapped myself back into it. And again, mind you, I'm still teaching this live call. I'm doing all of this without having sent a single message to her. Okay, so just to recap, she has sent a message, a voice note, before I went on this training call. I'm teaching the call. I haven't listened to the voice note. I haven't responded to her. I haven't done anything. I'm teaching this call. And we're talking about the Fire Horse, right? So I'm very fired up. I'm like very excited. And I let myself shift. I let myself shift. I hold this strong level of conviction in my body. I want to pause here. I want you to just hold the frequency of conviction in your body. For some of you, this is going to be like, boom, you got it. You're right there. You can do it. You can do it in a snap of a finger. And for some of you, it's like you feel it and then it wavers and you kind of come back to it. And then you have to like really, really focus to like hold it there. And you notice your brain wanting to like offer you different thoughts. So I want to give you a scenario. Let's say the offer that you're selling right now, whether it's like your main one-on-one or maybe you have a course, maybe you have a membership, whatever it is, just come up with one offer, okay? The main offer that you're selling, you're currently selling it right now. Feel the way that your body would feel if you just got the notification that someone purchased it. So whether that's like an invoice payment, maybe it is a checkout link, maybe it's like a PayPal notification, a Stripe email inbox notification, like you see it on your laptop, you see it on your phone that someone has purchased, someone has just paid you, an invoice has been paid, a payment has been sent. Feel the way that feels in your body. And I just want you to like be there for a moment. And I want you to tap into this level of conviction, right? And it might be other emotions. It might also be like excitement and gratitude, but there's this deep anchored conviction of like, yes. Not because the person signed that there's a yes, but you being able to feel in your body that your work, your offer, what you have to offer in your movement is so good. It just cannot be passed up. That's the level of conviction that I held in my body, like in my sacral. It wasn't even necessarily aimed directly at her. And yes, there's the layer of nuance here where obviously she's the person I'm thinking about. And we're having, we have this Telegram conversation that's happening in the back end here. And I'm thinking about like the voice note that she sent that I haven't opened yet. But it's not, the energetics of this is not like her as a client. I need her to sign. That's not the frequency. And I know that it can be it's like a 1 degree off kind of movement, right? Like 1 degree from like, I need her to sign versus like, I'm holding this deep conviction. And it really is an energetic state experience. Because this was a group training that I was leading. There were multiple people on this call. I wasn't sending her any messages. I was literally actively teaching this call. So I was not having a conversation. This was all energetic frequency. This was just what I was holding in my body. And then all of a sudden, I'm continuing to hold this frequency. I'm like teaching, and what I'm teaching on is like a very similar frequency, right? So I'm just like in the vibes of it, which I'm sure just amplified the entire thing, which is it's so good, right? It's so like potent and it's beautiful. It's beautiful that was the scenario and in which I was talking about in my content and what I was bringing to this, this like situation, right? So I'm having this experience in my body, okay? And if you have access to, or if you end up purchasing the Fire Horse frequency, you will see me shift in this way. Like, you will literally feel the moment that I like turn it on, because it's a completely different experience, and you can feel that energy. That energy is palpable. And then all of a sudden I see a notification come in through Telegram that says, fuck it, I'm in. I don't want to wait. I'm in. Like, I want to join now. Send me the link. And it was crazy. I sent her the link after the call. She paid the next day. And I want you to see here that even though this is about her and this client that joined my program, it really wasn't about her. It was about me holding the frequency and the conviction of my work so strongly that the right person just couldn't pass it up. So if it did end up getting passed up by her, I believe so strongly, because the energetics, it's not about a specific person. It's the energetics. It's the energy. The energy is an aligned client who is aligned, who is ready to join this program, joins this program. So if that ends up being her as a match, perfect. And it did end up being her. But there are scenarios where I've done this and someone ends up saying, oh, I'm so sorry, Tiffany. I can't do it. I can't join in this moment. And I'll be like, okay, no worries. Thanks so much for letting me know. And I let them go and I release them. And, you know, sometimes they come back around in the future and sometimes they don't. But there are times where I do this, and the person that I was thinking of, or maybe we were having back and forth conversations and I was waiting for a response, they end up saying no. But because I'm holding the frequency so strongly, and it's not about any specific person, somebody else comes in and purchases. This is exactly what I talk about when I'm talking about the frequency and the energetics of selling. Because it is not about, I need this person, this one to sign right now. It's not that. It's, I'm holding the conviction and the frequency of the right person. And it could be her, but it could be someone else that I'm not even thinking about. It could be someone else completely that, excuse me, it could be someone else completely that comes through that has been lurking my work and decided in that moment, because I released and I was open and there was a space available, right? It's kind of like when you're dating and you're holding the standard for the partner you desire to be with, your dream person. And you go on first dates with people, but on the first date, it's not necessarily, I need you to be the one. It's not that. It's this pure potential of you could be the one, and I'm going to show up 100% because you could be the one. And if it so happens that you were not the one, and maybe we date for a little bit, and, you know, maybe it's this thing of like, it just didn't end up working out. It's like you knew you gave it your all. There's something about that. There's something about, I gave it my all, and this person wasn't a match to my all, to my truth, to who I am at my core. And that is okay. That is okay. I'm in a period right now where I am actively dating and going on first dates, which is why this example is just so, it's so real, because it's some of what I'm moving through. And I do go on these dates, and sometimes they lead into multiple dates. And then you get to a point where it's either like you go in and you make the relationship exclusive, or you don't. And sometimes you can tell on the first date or the second date that, oh, there are some core things here that are just not a match, and that's okay. We go our separate ways, right? And sometimes it's somewhere in between. But what I like to hold is I'm detached. I go on these first dates. I'm detached from this person, but I'm attached to finding my person. But it doesn't have to be you sitting across the table from me, because I know that if it is not you, then it will be somebody else. So I am attached to finding my person. I want to find my person. I'm attached to that. I'm committed to that. I'm all in for that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Does it need to be you sitting across the coffee table from me? No, it doesn't need to be this guy. It doesn't need to be this one right here, right now, but I am open. And there is a magic when we tap into that pure potentiality. And I think that sometimes we are afraid. We're afraid of going all in. We're afraid of letting people in. We're afraid of caring too much. This is true for both dating and sales. We're afraid of, oh my goodness, okay, so we get to the point where the client is going to tell me their final answer, and let me just call it and say, okay, they're just not going to sign. They're just not going to sign. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You want to protect yourself. I noticed my brain wanting to go there, and I was like, nope. And I reeled myself back. But there were times where especially when I first started my business, where I would just call it and I would just decide that they didn't want it before I even gave them the opportunity. Because I was so afraid of being rejected. And we're not afraid of being rejected as much as we're just afraid of feeling the emotions that rejection brings up in our body. The shame, the sadness, the abandonment wounds. What does this mean about me? We're afraid of the story that our brain is going to spin. We're afraid of the narrative that we're going to tell ourselves, that we're going to be told. And that is scary. That is scary to us if we aren't able to hold it, if we're not able to create the emotional capacity for it. So in my work, this is what we do, is we go into the depths of the frequency work, the energetics work, and we look at how do you bring in that level of emotional safety when you're always going all in? Because it's just not an option not to go all in. In my life, it is not an option to not go all in. If I have the choice of being rejected potentially, or knowing that I'm going to be rejected, and it's a very high chance that I might be rejected, but there is a chance that I might win, I'm gonna play to win. I'm gonna go all in and see if I can win. If there is even a small percentage of me winning, I want to go. I want to do it. Right? I want to see what happens on the other side of fear. I want to see who I become when I'm not being dictated by all of my fears and the fear of discomfort and the fear of what could go wrong. I don't want to be led and run by those thoughts and those emotions and those potential fears. I don't want to look back on my life and realize that I try to avoid disappointment so much at every single turn, that I didn't invest in this and I didn't join that and I didn't take that action and I didn't launch this thing. I don't want to live a life where I am trying to avoid disappointment at all costs, that I end up living a disappointing life. And then I'm disappointed anyway. I don't want that. And I know you don't want that either. So building this level of conviction in my body, bringing in this frequency and this level of detachment where it's like, it doesn't need to be her. And if it is her, that's amazing. But if it's not her, then it is somebody else. And someone else also ended up joining very shortly around that same time as well, because I continue to hold this conviction, and more people are opening and they're a match and they join. And I'm open and they're open, it's a match and they join. I'm open, someone else is open, it's a match, they join. You and I are speaking on this podcast right now. I'm open, you might be open, and you might join. And the pure potentiality of that makes me so excited. And the pure potentiality of you and your next sales call, the next time that you post your stories, you get to lean into that. You get to care so deeply, because it could be that someone sees your story today that just found you yesterday and is binging your posts and decides to jump into your highest level offer. That pure potentiality is available and open. But are you willing to meet someone there? Are you willing to care a little too much? Are you willing to process the emotions of rejection and sadness and disappointment if it doesn't go the way that you planned? And when you can do that and you play to win, you get to create experiences like this, where the voice note that she ended up sending in the very beginning literally said, I think I'm going to join a little bit later. And that same day, within that hour, sent a message saying, fuck it, I'm in. I don't want to wait. And then paid the next day. This is the sorcery and the magic of frequency work, of energetics work. This is not strategy. This is not strategy in the sense that you were taught, right? And there's a lot of strategy that goes into selling and business, but when it really comes down to it, it is, are you holding a level of conviction in your body? Because if you are not, then no strategy works anyway. And that is really what my work is all about. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful Storytime podcast, where I share the real and raw behind this incredible experience, which has been so fun, so cool, so beautiful to witness in real time like this. And I will see you in the next episode. If you want to jump into the best way of working with me and entering my world, the Chamber is my energetics frequency of sales, frequency of attracting clients membership. It is a 6-month commitment. You can read all about it in my show notes. It is where you will get coaching, trainings, micro programs, and masterclasses, where we really focus on you having the conviction to be able to turn on the faucet to sales anytime, anywhere, and under any circumstance in your business. I'd love to see you inside the Chamber. If this episode struck something within you, I'd love to hear it. Send me a DM on Instagram at tiffanychung.co. I always love hearing from you all, and I'll catch you on the next podcast.